Happy morning to everyone. I hope you've had a really great weekend. It's been really beautiful and full of a lot of expansion. I'll leave it like that. My mug today, so fitting, and tea, because on the weekends, which is one of my favorite times, I get to spend time with my little niece, and she's going to be 3 soon, and it's always an adventure with her. Life through a almost 3-year-old's eyes is pretty fun and pretty amazing. And then I'm gonna have another little nugget, a nephew. It'll be my first nephew. I have 2 nieces, so that's kind of exciting for me. My brother and his wife are pregnant, and so that's super exciting. I've not had a nephew yet, so that'll be fun. I'll be auntie again. So beautiful day, beautiful start to the day. A lot of gratitude. I'm recognizing something really important. You have those moments where you learn something or somebody shares something and you're like, oh yeah, and you get it, but maybe it hits you differently at some point. Maybe you've heard something 1,000 times and at some moment something aligns within you and it just hits you differently and you grasp it differently. It affects you differently. It creates shift in your world in a new way. That's kind of how I feel about this notion of the practice of gratitude. So I posted today, easily and effortlessly. It's how I like things to flow in my life for the most part. Not without the appreciation, of course, for challenge, because I think we learn so much within challenge. I think part of the point of challenge is to take a look at what's challenging, why it's so challenging, and maybe to shed what we need to and get better at something so that it's not so challenging anymore. Kind of like loss. It's almost when you lose at something, if it becomes so defeating. I'm thinking of myself as a youngster, and it was so defeating because I didn't know how to lose. I would get to the point of, in my adult life, almost not wanting to attempt certain things because of the fear of losing was so big that I'd rather just not even do it. I went through this phase. I used to be very competitive. I'm still somewhat competitive, but nowhere near what I used to be. I used to be insanely competitive. Like I had to win at everything. Everything I did, I was to win. And I remember there would be times of doing something with friends that was, they would say like, dude, we're just playing for fun. Like and in my head, I'm like, what the hell is that? Who does that? Like, I'm trying to win over here. And I almost didn't know how to just have fun, just how to appreciate it for fun, because I was so competitive. And so I went through a phase for quite a long time where I didn't want to compete or attempt certain things because I would go into this mode of competitiveness and would almost not even know how to just have fun doing it. And then if I would lose, I would be really upset. And so I've worked on that and gotten to the point where, hey, I'm gonna do something just for the sake of having fun or just to get better at it, to learn from it, and so that the next time I do it can be better and better and better. In other words, really appreciating the process, having gratitude in the process, not just for getting to a certain point. And I think that's really important. If I was so fixated on only reaching that particular outcome of winning something, then every step along the way, including the step where maybe I fall short, feels like a failure and can be really discouraging. But if I have gratitude every step along the way, I'm appreciating the growth that's happening. And that's motivating and propelling me to become better. When I talk about wanting things with ease and effortlessness, I think about not everything is going to be that way, and it would almost be silly to think that, because challenge shapes us. But I think it happens so that we can grow through it, we can shift, we can shed what we need to, and we can obtain what we need to. Shed old ideas, thoughts, patterns, behaviors in order to obtain new ideas, new thoughts, new patterns, new behaviors in order to be better. So losing, to go back to the story, was so detrimental and horrible because I was so fixated on this one thing. The value, there was only value on this one thing. Maybe it was winning or getting to the top of the mountain, so to speak, of whatever our mountain is, instead of really appreciating everything that happened along the way. I shared a story in a meditation before where in junior high we lost the championship game, but I'm pretty sure we went undefeated the whole season. And instead of really appreciating, oh my gosh, like every single win and how much better we got, it was like the whole thing was tanked because we didn't win in the end. We didn't win the championship game. So I had to learn how to appreciate every aspect of the journey. And in doing so, I think that gratitude has really propelled me into better things in life, a better way of being, really. But I think it's really necessary to appreciate along the way. The notion of allowing things with ease and effortlessness even pertains to learning and stumbling and struggling and falling. And so that might look like landing face first in a shit sandbox and actually going, okay, this is not a comfortable space, but I can appreciate the fact that I'm not going to be in here forever, and that there must be something for me to learn because I landed in here. So even going through struggle with some ease and effortlessness, I think we can get to that. I think that's part of the goal. It's certainly not to avoid conflict or challenge or struggle in life. That would be, well, maybe a monk's goal, but for the majority of lay human beings, silly, because that's even a part of our growth. And I suppose even a monk in their wonderful wisdom would say the same thing, that they're encountering struggle or challenge or resistance within. I think we're always going to encounter that. I think it's not about trying to avoid challenge or struggle. And I say that because I think I did that for a long time. I hated conflict. You ever feel like that, where you tend to be one who avoids conflict? You hate conflict. And so I was so much more agreeable to so many things because conflict was so much more uncomfortable that I'd rather just not be in conflict. I would shy away from conflict with people. But I've since learned that conflict can be a healthy thing. It's necessary. It's a necessary part of life. We bump up against conflicts within ourselves in order to create change. So it's 100% necessary, but also not a good reason to avoid doing something because there's going to be conflict, but rather learning to approach and navigate conflict with ease, or with more ease than before. I think that's can be a part of our aim and part of our work. So when I think about doing things in my life, or being, or having, and doing that or being that or having that with ease and with effortlessness, I don't think it's about not ever having conflict or challenge, just to be clear on what that means. I think it's about learning how to navigate that challenge, those mountains, the process differently. It's really about shifting our attitude to an attitude of gratitude. I really think it is about having gratitude throughout the process. This is why I think gratitude is really transforming, because I think to truly have gratitude means to be thankful for whatever it is that you're discussing. And so if I'm falling or struggling or failing, to to actually be grateful. Not just to say I'm grateful for it, to really become, to be, to embody gratitude for it. It makes a world of difference. How do we know when we're actually doing that? Well, when I'm struggling, maybe I'm not beating myself up. When I don't hit the mark or the target, I'm not so frustrated and restricted that I can't then take the next step. Instead, I'm really appreciating what there is for me within the challenge or the struggle. It's like one of my clients the other day, totally inside of a shit sandbox, and knew it too. I can't get out of this shit sandbox. I hear you. And what's my focus? My focus is to help my client get to the point of appreciation for what's happening. A, to be okay that this person is inside of a shit sandbox, as we like to call it. And B, really focusing on gaining perspective on what there is inside of this. Not that there's anything wrong with it, not that it's bad, and not that it's a worse place to be. Actually, one of the things we got to is, I really think this is a gift. And focusing on why, and focusing on how to really grab gratitude. That's, I think, the way that we learn to navigate with ease and effortlessness. It doesn't mean we never land in a shit sandbox. It means that when we do, maybe we do it with a little more grace. And maybe we get better at finding what there is to be thankful for sooner. And maybe we hang out in there less longer. And maybe we stop trying to drag everybody else into our shit sandbox to play with us. Rather, we really focus on what there is to gain from it. What a different way of living. What a different way of being with gratitude, no matter where we're at along the journey. I know sometimes I get fixated on an outcome and having a particular outcome. And so every moment that I don't have that outcome, I'm not where I'm supposed to be or where I want to be. Maybe you can resonate with that. We're having a desire and awareness of being somewhere different or having something different or doing something different. And so every moment that we're not inside of that, maybe we're feeling a bit like a failure or not good enough, or insert whatever emotion that coincides with that. And instead, really learning to have gratitude, because every bit of everything that's happening is a part of the process. And to learn to receive that with ease and effortlessness. To learn to struggle with ease and effortlessness, meaning when things get challenging, to stop resisting and fighting and getting so upset, which keeps us stuck in that energy and in that space for a really long time. And so today, I'm excited to do a meditation with you on really welcoming the notion of being, doing, having with ease and effortlessness, including our struggle, including our challenge. And so hopefully this content helps you understand a bit more about gratitude and how to really function with a little bit more ease and effortlessness in your everyday. As always, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. That helps. And also, whatever platform you're watching this on, please share this video with others. And I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope this content is really helpful. And so let's prepare to go into our meditation.